You never truly learned exactly what your more than odd crew was, but if there is one thing you can say without a doubt is that all of them, including the Darling itself, were part of the sea. It flowed in them. They knew it on an intimate level a land dweller such as yourself would never fathom. The knowledge gave you a sense of comfort you weren't expecting at all, really. As one by one, the unknown became familiar. Little tidbits that made it all the more bearable, like the multitude of small vials the captain had taken the habit of gifting you, filled with little birds, as he called them. Yet, according to Flair, they were the teeth from sand dollars. To you, they did kind of look like birds, a little bit. But nonetheless, fear and shadows that had been haunting you since the very start had turned into something else. Seeing slivers of tentacles from underneath Jack in the galley, a multitude of shadowy heads against the walls of Flair's room as she bandaged you up and made sure you were healthy as could be. A tangible darkness that gave way when you were lost in the deepest bowels of the Darling. When you would join Sparrow at the wheel and feel his cape brush against your cheek. The fabric felt to be made of gossamer and morning dew, flickering like wings against his back, and swimming so easily in even the harshest of seas. A flicker of pink, something catching your eye, a tail, perhaps? Julie's strong grip as she twirled and danced you around the deck, hands ever damp, all of her really, and you could always know that the trail of hooves and seaweed would lead you to Julie. The captain was a delight unlike any other, with songs he sung endlessly and filled with drink you made. His short stature never really stopped him from scooping you up easily as can be, carrying you whenever he fancied, even if your limbs did drag gently across the deck. But not all was always so merry, for while you were most certainly human, they were not, and as such you would class, such as when the captain had forced you down into the void of the ship, and you had asked, all you really wanted to know was why. Why couldn't you help during a raid? It had been months since you had been accepted, and your skills with a sword had been improving. At first, he had been shy, gentle as you said. He thought it would be easier to keep you here. Cheeks ruddy, gaze to the side. Treasure, please understand. You reach to him to clarify his words. He whips around, yanking his hand away as he snarled, flashes of fangs greeting you and barked, I have decided. I am your captain and you will stay. You flinched at his tone, but more at the words than anything. You didn't know what stung more, him leaving you or the bleeding of your palm, as it had been bitter all the same. None had agreed with how the captain had handled things. He had tried to apologize right after, so many times, but you ran and hid, too hurt to even hear him out. Till, when you started to turn in for the night, you heard his voice at your door. The Darling not even allowing the captain to budge its door. A thump alerted you to the sliding down and sitting of him. Treasure, I'm so sorry. I never should have done what I did. I was scared to lose you. And the warmth you fill me with? No, Captain, your captain, should never toss around his title like that. It was selfish of me, just because you're human. I'll protect you, though, and you can stay by my side in the next raid. All the time. His voice cracked and seemed to wobble. I never wanted to hurt you. I didn't mean to scare you. The door opened, and you saw your usually bubbly and tipsy captain on his knees, crying, staring surprised at you, as if he believed you'd never open that door for him. But that was all you ever wanted to hear, an apology, to know that you actually were part of the crew, that you had your worth. And you hugged him, and all felt right again. And as promised, in the next raid, you were able to participate, but it wasn't exactly as you had expected it to be, as it came without warning. And as all of the crew fought back against the intruders as they boarded the ship, you were faced with the possibility of your life at sea cut short. As you stared up at the man holding a blade against your throat, feeling the blood trickle down your neck. You breathed, and before you could even beg for mercy, a voice rang out, clear and crisp. "Oh, poor sailor bold." You felt your skin crawl and heart threaten to fly out, the voice deep, unlike the soft, slow tone you were used to. It was the captain's. The fighting seemed to slow to a stop. The raiders on the ship slammed down to their knees as something primal, something frightening, crawled through their skin, something you were familiar with in your early days aboard the Darling. They couldn't even utter a single word. They all stared at the captain, who was in the center of it all. The last time you had seen him, he had been so far away. It was a mystery to you how he had gotten to the middle so quickly. But all watched with bated breaths as the sharp clacks of his boots echoed on the dark wood. His claws had wrapped around the man whose sword would have sent you to a watery grave. The man in question shook and withered like bait on a hook. You felt impressed as much as you wanted to run and hide. You couldn't. You didn't want to. You felt safe as your captain easily flung the swine all the way back to his own ship, his crew scampering after him, their tails tucked like the cowards they were. And as you sat down on your knees, you looked at your captain and asked, "What was that?" You said, head still fuzzy and dreamy in a way. "Oh, Treasure," he smiled. "Nothing to worry about." "Now," he chimed, excited, "a party to our victory. Jack, let's bring out the finest that our treasure has made." And he laughed and dropped you gently in Flair's arms as he fusses over you. Guess another thing you had to the growing list of your scary, wonderful, and odd crew. To the many more adventures yet to come. And what a time it will be. And oh, how much fun you'll have with the captain and the rest of the Darling crew.